Welcome back to part 2 of the 7 Woes. We're going to cover 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the first 4 of the Woes. And then on Sunday morning, 5 through 7, April 26, 2020, that Sunday morning, we'll cover 5, 6, and 7. So I'm not going through all the introduction again, just a reminder about what we're talking about. Jesus is in his very last sermon. He's 2 days away from dying. It's on Wednesday. And what does he preach on? He preaches on false teachers. And he preaches on warning the disciples concerning the false teachers and also calling out false teachers. Out of everything that he could have taught on, this is what he was warning us. And by the way, this is very prevalent for us today. There's plenty of false teachers out there that are trying to lead us astray. And he says you need to be aware. The first thing we talked about was the elimination. We talked about how they were eliminating people from the kingdom because they were teaching a false gospel, a false way to enter into the kingdom, and it was not by your works. That's exactly the way they taught, that if you were good enough, then you could enter in. If you obeyed the law, and we all know that we cannot obey the law 100% because the law was there to show us that we are sinners. And so 2 words that must be understood. The first one we discussed was woe. It means watch out. If you don't repent, there's going to be a damnation of hell for you. And he says, woe you Pharisees, woe you scribes. There's a warning right here. And then he calls them hypocrites. The easiest definition is an actor on the stage of life, but it's basically somebody whose virtues and morals and religious activities do not really match up to what's going on inside of their heart. Now, let's look at what the second thing is. So the first one was they were eliminating people from the kingdom because of what they were teaching, and then they were deceiving people for how they were proselyting them. He says, woe to you scribes and Pharisees and hypocrites, because you travel around on sea and land to make one proselyte. Now, making a proselyte is not uncommon for any religious organization. I mean, you look at Christianity. Jesus says, go ye therefore in all the world, make what? Disciples. He says, I want you to go out, because we're constantly casting out seed, are we not? We do not do the saving. It is Jesus Christ that does the saving. Jesus Christ does the drawing. I do not like to hear people, I saved such and such. I did this. We didn't do nothing. You didn't even save yourself. It was God who saved you. It is God who is the one who is the gospel bearer. He is the one who does all the work inside of our hearts. If it wasn't for him, then we could not get saved. And so here is totally different. They were making proselytes. They were going around to convert as many Gentiles as they possibly could to Judaism, meaning it was the very works, obey the law. If you did this and this and this and you did it correctly, then you were going to enter into the kingdom. And so the Pharisees were very successful at converting the Gentiles. People were, it was amazing how many people wanted to be in this false teaching in Judaism, and they wanted to, and they were now a Gentile, able to join into the ranks of the Jews, and they were very zealous. Now look what he says here. There's 2 types of Gentiles. All right, number 1, and it's amazing this is the case, the proselyte of the gate. Now this is their title. These Gentiles were a lot of times what people who claim Christianity. You know what? Yes, I'm a Christian. I said this prayer, and I'm only going to attend church every once in a while, and I may worship God every once in a while, but I'm really not committed to the full Christianity. I mean, when it comes to dying to self thing, I don't really think I'm into that. But yeah, I'm a Christian. That's exactly the way this was here. The Gentiles were like, yeah, I'll attend some of the services, and yeah, I'll worship God every once in a while, but I'm not going to just be full out legalistic Jew. And so, but there was a second type of person. It was called a proselyte of the righteous. These people were fanatics. In fact, they were more fanatical than some of the Pharisees. They attended all the ceremonies. They attended all the feasts and all the rituals. As I said, they were lined up to be converted. Can you imagine what that line was like? I've only thought this is like the sheep going into the slaughter. That's exactly what this was. And they thought, wow, look how close I'm going to be to God. Look, I'm going to enter into his kingdom. But they were really being deceived. And that's what the Pharisees was doing. In fact, he tells them, and when he becomes one who, a Gentile becomes what? Part of your cult, a hypocrite. That's all he is. You make him twice as much as a son of hell as yourself. He says there's double the amount of damnation in their life because they're being deceived. He says they're hellish in their actions and the place that they're going to spend eternity. So there's no question about it. The Pharisees was a false teaching, a false religion in Judaism, keeping the law. You're not able to do it. I'm not able to do it. You're going to have to be saved by grace through faith, not of yourselves, lest any man should boast.